Hello out there, and thank you so much for being here today, lords and ladies. Welcome to the channel. I am your liege lord, the Godless Gamer. Excited for year 6 here. Today's episode is primarily going to be about developing my village, and I really want to go crazy on you and have a good time talking about our manor house. I'm going to spend some time doing that, so please forgive me, but I love castles so damn much, and this is the part of the game that I see myself being the reason why I continue to play the game as it develops, because I think castles are going to be overhauled in probably the next update, which I can't wait for. But let's talk about what I'm going to do with my manor house, and I want to kind of justify why I've been putting this off for so long, because I really want to build up my manor house and the defenses and stuff, but I can get rid of these X's because I know I'm not going to build anything here. But if I want it to be really, really cheap, which I'm not going to be because I'm going to go crazy, if I want it to be really, really cheap, I could do something like this. I could just build a wall around my manor house, staying within this perimeter, and that would be relatively cheap. The construction cost is not that much. 2 timber, 46 planks? Sure. But that's not what I want. That's an ugly castle. That's not what I want to do. And I don't want to be limited by these boundaries. So I'm forced to build other things. I have to build towers, because these towers extend my domain around my manor house, giving me more versatility and allowing me to be more free with my design choices. So I'm not going to pull the trigger on this, but I just want to show you what I'm going for in terms of my manor design, because I want to have towers in intervals along the wall, because it makes sense. Classic castle design. You wouldn't just have one wall, because you want a place for men to be able to engage people who are attacking the wall, so that's why you have the towers. I don't need to explain this to you guys, but this is what I'm kind of going for. Using the road right here as a perimeter. And like I said, I'm not going to do this, but this is just a rough example. I have to get some towers on these cliff sides. So this is probably what I'm going for here. This is overkill. If I were to do this, not having even built the wall yet, the palisade wall, not even having built that, it's going to cost me 120 timber, which I can manage, but that's just so much timber that would be dedicated to this. And I have plans for this in future iterations of the manor house, because at first, while we're still going to build the perimeter, we'll do that first, I want to create an additional perimeter, because I want to create a secondary bailey right here, with a gatehouse dividing the inner bailey, where my manor is, and the outer bailey, and then I want to create a very tight gatehouse right here, a road coming up this way. Like, you know, the towers that I create are pretty much what I want to do, are the perimeter. But I want to capitalize on this downslope a little bit, and then maybe, just maybe, because currently there are no ramparts on the wall, so your men can't man the walls and shoot from them, but you can stand behind them. So I thought, if I maybe create, because I haven't created archers yet, if we can pull our enemy here, sure, I'll have my melee infantry over here, but maybe the slope is so good that maybe as they're approaching, I can have my archers at least flinging some shit at them. The archers are very low impact, and my men would be better suited just being spearmen and just getting kills on the front line. Like, I swear, as much as I would love to be able to utilize archers, they're just not high impact. But I will maybe do just one, and then we can have an archer company shooting over the walls and maybe getting a kill or two as they approach, you know? But this is roughly what I want to do. Create the inner, or the outer bailey, and then have the inner bailey. Still debating on whether or not I want there to be access straight into the inner bailey, because that wouldn't make sense defensively. You want the enemies to have to go through as many obstacles as possible. If I were to do a gatehouse here, they could just go around and go for this one and go straight for the main bailey. But I don't know if I want to subdivide it again. Maybe I can have an outer bailey right here, and then have this as a bailey, you know? You see what I'm going. Like, maybe I could do a... You know, something like this. See what I'm doing? See what This kind of stuff gets my juices flowing. Every game that I play, I like building castles, and I want it to look sexy. I can't pull the trigger on this, and I could probably slim down on the amount of towers because each one is really expensive. I could probably cut down on the number of this, but just to give you an idea of what I want to do for my castle. Yeah, that many towers is kind of ugly. It's too many. But anyway, there is no way in hell that I'm just being super cheap and doing this. Just get out of here. Not doing that. This is my castle, damn it. It's gonna be fancy as hell. Okay, we got that out of the way. I do apologize, guys, for those of you who are here to see me play. I have to talk about one more thing because this actually has to do with what I'm trying to accomplish today. Today I want to get to the next development. We want to go up to a medium town from a small town, get our next development point, get orchardry, and then I can utilize another food source. But I need to upgrade a certain amount of burgage plots up to level 3. And I want to make sure I'm not going crazy with upgrading to level 3, because with each new level 3, that adds more family space for people to move in, and just more food variety requirements and clothing variety requirements, you know? So let's get at least enough burgage plots up to level 3 to get us to the next development point. So that's what I want to accomplish today. I'm not expecting any combat. It could happen, but I'm not expecting it. And I started my vegetable garden here. Now, this is a plot that I do want to get a level 3 burgage plot. We want to get it up to level 3 as soon as we can, just like with these vegetables, because we want the vegetable plot running at full efficiency as soon as we can, which means we need to get 4 families in the plot. So I can't build anything else anywhere until this plot is level 3 and it's fully manned. Full capacity with families. I did get another corpse pit built, so we can assign these 4 families to that job and keep doing that work around. But we will build a few more burgage plots up to level 2, prioritizing the doubles, the ones with living space expansions. I have a few of those. Here's one. I want to get them up to level 3 because they're in the center of town. They're going to look like this. They'll match the roof of my church. And that way my village is kind of looking fancier and fancier from the center outwards, with the exception of these, of course. So my village will start looking really fancy in the middle, and then we'll start working out, expanding our urban sprawl, building more level 1s and 2s. You know, see what I'm doing? See what I'm saying? So, but we will build at least 7 more to get the next development. And after that, we'll take a breath, and then we'll get back to building level 1s and building more houses. Alright, so I talked a bunch. I'm going to take a sip of water, and we'll go on 2-speed. My castle's gonna look so... Even though my house, on its own, my actual manor, isn't as impressive as a level 3 burgage plot, even though we won't get it to look like this, it will be impressive with its defenses, because I have the walls and all of that. That is what will make it look amazing compared to just like a rich person living in the village. We need to stand out amongst everybody else. And I feel like in medieval history, that was kind of the point of building castles. It was the point. It was to have your subjects, for whoever was building the castle, have your subjects be in awe of your castle, like that visual symbol of your power. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm getting too worked up because I'm in a medieval mood right now, I guess. This game gets me in a medieval mood, and that's great. And then maybe as we get our level 3 plots upgraded, this part of town will look a little fancier, and we can get a boots-on-the-ground view of it. I have this set to highest priority, because we want to get... Because immediately upon a family moving in, we need to upgrade it to level 3. So I'm already doing the living space extension. It's a little risky to keep working up to my borders like this, because if raiders ever attack from here, I have a very short notice to get my men mustered. And there's not a lot of room for me to fight and have a home field advantage. I'm kind of forced to fight on this territory, and we lose that advantage. So this is kind of a vulnerability of my, if I could build city walls around the entire city, that would no longer be a problem, but we can't do that yet. Uh-oh. Now, I was trying to get the vegetable plot to be around the same size as the other two, even though it's on a different shaped plot. It's about the same size. I think I did a pretty good job planning that out. Because we don't want the garden to be too big for 4 families, because there is a point where even 4 families living on a plot, the field is just too big. So the size that I built for these two is like a nice size one, and this is about the same size, so I'm happy with myself. Okay, a woodcutter I would definitely like to have going right now. I got him close to some trees that they can freely chop down. Alright, I have to be very specific with this. Things are looking really good, actually. Being a little low on timber is okay. That means we're going through it at a reasonable rate, saving up a decent amount of planks. My sheep herd is getting to a size where we can start slaughtering it for the purposes of food and pelts. But, the flock is divided into 2 age groups. There are adults, and then there are, like, the children, the lambs. We don't want to slaughter the lambs. We want them to grow up to be sheep. But we do want to slaughter some adults, but to a point. We need adults to exist so we can shear them for wool, and we need adults to exist to reproduce, to produce more lambs. So we can't slaughter all of the sheep, but when we get to a flock size of about 100, we'll have 50 adults and 50 lambs, so we'll just hunt, or we'll slaughter... We'll decide when it happens. We're not there yet. I'm talking about things that we're not even dealing with yet. Oh boy. I think my house got struck by lightning. I didn't see lightning, but that's what I'm implying from this. One of my houses is on fire. Of all of the things that could have happened to. Alright, something new we're experiencing that we haven't experienced before. There's a fire breaking out. Now it could spread, and we don't want that. I have 2 wells pretty close by. There's a well right here. Not that close. And then I have another well somewhere over here. Trust me, it's over here somewhere. Where the hell is it? Here. Oh, no, that's not it. Trust me. Just take my word for it. Why would I lie? I promise there's a well somewhere else. We don't want this to spread. Come on, please don't spread. Please, please, please. fire hazard is a work in progress. Smell is a work in progress. So, not really any way to predict or build in such a way to avoid fires, you know? But, alright, one of our houses lit on fire. It's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay. We can rebuild it. It was just a tier 2. Please don't spread. I don't think it kills anybody. Our approval rating is still okay. Oh yeah, I should mention this. We want to get over 75% approval, because that way we go into the high population bracket, the high population growth, and we can start getting more families per month instead of just 1 or 2 every month. We want to get more. Alright, let's just rebuild this. Could have been worse. Could have been much worse. Now, there's 2 different numbers. There's the number when I click on the pasture. It says 75 out of 100. But when I hover... Oh! Totally forgot to mention this. We have royal taxes that we have to pay now. We have a liege lord now. Our liege lord didn't exist for the first few years, but now he does. We have a king or whatever. Or who would be our liege? We're a baron, so... In Crusader Kings 3... my liege lord would be a count, but it says annual royal tax, so it's a king. But we have a liege lord, and we need to pay a tax to him in 310 days. He has the right to increase it throughout the year, so 194 is not the number that we're going to end up paying. It's probably going to go up. So that's another reason why I have to have taxes of my own going at all times, because I need to be able to afford this. I'm not charging any taxes because I want to get over 75% approval. We have enough saved up. And I only need like a really big influx of families right now. I'm still waiting for a family to move in here. But we are getting other families coming in. It's good. We're okay on timber, we're okay on planks. Since we're probably gonna run out of berries soon, let's just get them all. Let's just get everything. And then when winter rolls around, we'll deactivate our dyer's workshop. Okay, so there's another family. Damn it. I did have some other living spaces previously available, and they're moving into those first. It's not a big deal, it's just delaying when I'm going to be able to upgrade all the rest of these to level 3, because this is the first one I want to upgrade to level 3. What are you complaining about? You're fine. As time goes by, I should kind of talk about this. The burgage plots that have artisans in them, there are very few artisan burgage plots that I would be willing to upgrade to level 3, because when you upgrade them to level 3, an additional family moves in, and that family is forced to do that job. So, for example, if I were to do a joiner shop, upgrade it to level 3, another family would move in, and they would burn through my planks like ridiculously fast. I don't need to be producing shields at a crazy rate. I mean, we're doing okay with our military, and we do need to keep supplying our men with shields, so I want to keep producing shields, and I want to keep exporting shields, but I don't want to be creating them in massive numbers and burning through my planks. So that's an example of an artisan that I won't be upgrading to level 3, but an example of an artisan that I will probably upgrade to level 3 is the brewery, because I do constantly need ale to supply my increasing village. I really want to keep all of my houses as level 2, and when they get to level 2, that's when they require ale. So as I expand my village, I'm going to need more and more ale. So maybe having another brewer going would be beneficial. It would involve me having to import more malt, because I am doing that. It would be an additional cost, but I am exporting excess ale to kind of make up for that shortfall. So I'd be more willing to be burning through malt as opposed to planks, which is really, really valuable. I can burn through malt at a higher rate. So that is an example of an artisan that I might upgrade to level 3 quicker or sooner than the other ones. Okay, we're maintaining a 75% approval. We're in the high population growth bracket now. We just want to be able to maintain that. Not forever, just fast enough to get me to fill this. Are we gonna get to? Nope, it dropped down. Right before I got the increase to my population, it dropped down at the start of the month. But there should be a family here now. Nope, still not. Of course it's going to be the last plot that they choose to move into. Okay, we're just stuck waiting for another influx. Sorry, guys. But aren't you guys excited for my castle? I can't wait. And I would really prefer to build it all at once, or maybe in 2 different parts. But even just building the first part of it is going to be really expensive. Okay, we're foraging a lot of berries to the point where we're getting overstuffed. Let's get another person working the sheep farm, shearing more sheep. We almost have 100. I'm going to tone it down on importing. I don't need too many livestock traders, so we have a decent amount of available people here. Are we chopping wood again? Yeah, I did that. I want to save up a decent stockpile of firewood before I start making charcoal. Boy, what do we need to do? Let's get some more miners. Let's buff up our roof tile industry. We will eventually... We're going to need a 24-hour tannery going as soon as we get these sheep up and running, once we get a flock of 100. My tannery's doing just fine. I mean, I'm sorry, my tavern. Sorry, I keep slowing down occasionally to talk, and then I forget to speed back up.
This is heavier than it looks.
Well, shut up and do your job. My woodcutters are out of stuff. Alright. As soon as we chop down these last few trees... I know this is so annoying, guys, I know, but... As soon as we get those trees chopped down, I'll plot out a field or something just to clear it. Or no, I could just do that this way. And then we'll have more space for residential in the future. Alright, our family should move in now. There we go. So this new corpse pit that I have prepared, we need to make sure it's not working. We assign the family to that. We have to check to make sure that it says they're grave diggers. It does. And now that there's a family moving in here, we can upgrade it to level 3. We have to go straight to level 3. We have to get through level 2 first, and then go straight to level 3. I need there to be available living space for people to move in so we can keep the constant population growth going. If there are times where there's no living space and I miss my chance at that time during the month, that time of the month... Alright, we might miss one thing, but that's fine. The logic of filling this first up to level 4 is important. Alright, we have a decent amount of pelts right now because I've been hunting. I can't do that anymore. I gave them more leeway. I allowed for 5 more animals left, but... Let's get somebody working this tannery now. And we're so close to making a butcher shop and beginning our process of slaughtering these poor innocent sheep. Meh. Look, I have to do it. I need meat. If I want to build more level 3 plots, I need another source of food, so... Them's the breaks. Okay, so we got it up to level 2 immediately. That was really, really quick. Now we'll get it to level 3. Then we have to wait for it to fill. Then we can build the rest of the level 3s. So we have to wait for 3 more families to move in. Can't build anything else. Then once it's full, I guess I'll spam all the tier 3 ones all at the same time, I guess. Or maybe we'll do it in 2 separate pieces. But we are going to get our next development point today, which will be orchardry. And then that's going to be the second last point. Because it's the max of 6. You can get 6 max. We've got 4 currently, so that'll be 5. And then we can maybe get rye cultivation. I should probably check to see if we can grow rye anywhere. Rye is like the one grain that has a better time growing. So even though everything else kind of sucks, rye is more hardy and more versatile, and so there are some places I could do it. And it is in a good spot because I'm trying to keep this as the outskirts of my village. So it would make sense for there to be farmland out here. So if we ever develop rye, if we want to, there's a place nearby my village where we can do it. So that's something to keep in mind for our next development point. We're running out of berries. We'll move our forager's hut. Okay, the families are really starting to move in now. We seem to be stockpiling a lot of wool, which means that my weaver can afford to make more at a time, so we'll get another person doing that. And we need to keep an available family for when I make my butcher shop. I'm doing it now. We're basically at 100. The flock is 48 adults, 50 lambs. We're not going to upgrade the plot to level 3. We're just going to build a butcher shop. I like the sound of the knife being sharpened. That's perfect. But now, since it's close to the... This is why I chose this plot. It's a single plot. I don't need the living extension, but it's closest to the herd, to the pasture. So now we have a steady source of food, being meat, and we have a steady source of pelts, which means I can start producing more and more clothing. If I wanted to crank up my clothing production, I can produce more shoes and maybe start exporting shoes. So the possibilities are boundless, but But I'm not going to do all that. I won't get carried away. But now, since we have that other food variety, I can start spamming out these level 3 plots. Okay, so now 2 families are moved in here. We just need 2 more. Okay, the butcher shop is built. We need to mess with this. We want to produce meat. We want to try to maintain half the flock as lambs. Feel free to leave things in the comments if I could do this more efficiently, but just get inside my head for a moment here. We don't want to slaughter any of the kids. We want them all to grow up to be adults to replace the ones that I'm slaughtering. But we still need a certain amount of adults to shear wool from and to get it on and make more babies. But it's the adults that I want to slaughter. So since half the flock is adults and half are lambs, how about we take it easy, because we don't have a bunch of level 3 plots that we are trying to maintain right now. How about we slaughter 20 of them? That should be fine. At least I'm hoping it is. Let's keep storing up firewood. I hope we're exporting things, because I'm noticing my regional wealth isn't phenomenal. I have plenty of people working the trading post. I would prefer not to crank it up. There's our 3rd family. Just one more. One more family to go, and we can get the rest of these level 3s. And then once all of those are built, imagine the amount of living space that's going to become available as a result of me upgrading the level, or the double ones, since I'm prioritizing those. Okay. Foragers are done. Let's move the forager's hut just across the way. And while I'm not gonna fill it now, I have to draw my little pictures, because, of course. So, the pictures give you an idea, even though I don't have the city built, it gives you an idea of what I'm planning for it, you know? So you can use your imagination and imagine the new houses that are gonna get built here. Alright, as far as approval goes, we're maintaining that. We have so many planks. Alright, you know what? I'm curious. Let's get another trader here. If that really improves our regional wealth, I'll keep them there. I'll turn off the dyer in winter. These people are waiting. Are they out of stuff? Oh yeah, that's probably what this means. This warning is. Alright, come down here then. Alright, I need to start filling some jobs. We seem to be exporting quite a bit of clay. I've made sure that we have at least 300, and we seem to be keeping it there, so I guess we're just exporting a lot of clay. So I guess it would help to have more people mining it. Oh, did we get that other family? Here we go. Time has arrived. We're going to unassign this final family. And within, what, like a quarter of an episode, I'd say, we got one of our vegetable gardens running at full efficiency already. It's too late for the vegetables themselves because we still haven't plowed it and winter is just around the corner. So we're not going to start benefiting from all the vegetables, but at least we have all the families working the ground, you know? So it got up and running way before we got these ones, or way sooner than these ones. So we can do this now. Let's get to our next development point. And how many do we need? We need 6. So the 6 that I've chosen are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there's no other doubles nearby to the center of time. No, there's this one. There's the funky one that I made. We can get this to level 3. And then that would get us there. I'm just trying to focus on the ones at the center first. Let's do these 3. And then once they're up to their fancy looking selves, I'll do a boots on the ground view of them. You know what, screw it. I'm going to do this one too. Look, that's already 8 more living space just from upgrading those. Alright, I just exhausted all of my timber. We're not producing planks anymore, so let's give our timber supplies a second to recuperate before I make more of them. But it's really going to change the look and feel of my village, because now these houses are going to have the roof tile roofs like the church, and it's going to give this part of town some character. And when you build them up to level 3, the buildings, like, pile on top of each other. There's, like, no space between the buildings. Build, peasants, build. Alright, so my town is going to start looking really, really fancy. Alright guys, hurry up, hurry up. Build one of the plots where we don't have any space and we don't want to miss out on some population when the month changes. Come on, come on! Come on, you fools! Damn it, we might have missed it. Of course we did. Of course, 3 seconds. Whatever. So look at that. It's gonna look nice to walk down here. So the streets are more imposing and the buildings are more imposing, more claustrophobic. It gives you more of a city feel, more downtown feel. Yeah, I think we just missed out on a family, which really blows. Oh, since I moved my forager's hut, I have to rebuild the herb garden. There was 2 families, we just got 2 to move in. It went from 6 to 4. Excellent. And I'm noticing my regional wealth is improving, but I don't really think it's because of this extra worker. It could be. We're just able to get more exports to market faster with more workers. It went back up to 6 again. Alright, so now the people are really moving in. And our militia companies are really starting to grow. just 3 more plots. Let's do this one now. I am so curious to see. So the living extension is over here. And then the main house is over here. I don't think that's going to stay the same. It might mess with the configuration a little bit. We'll see how it goes. But that's it. That's the final house I need to upgrade. Yeah, because we're still waiting for this one to finish, and then that'll get it up to 8. Look, it's not even winter yet, and they've gotten like a third of all the land that they need to plowed. Because we want them to plow the field because they plant the vegetables at the same time, so come springtime, at least they'll have some vegetables to harvest. Alright, look at this. Let's see how this... I want to see how the game configures this. This was the living space expansion, and it seems to be the bigger building. Now the main house has become the punier house. Holy crap, how tall are they going to build this roof? Holy crap. That's almost as tall as the church. How dare they think that they can build above the church. Oh, here we go. It's doing it. Oh, I see what they're doing. They're dismantling this house and they're building it over here. I don't think I like that. It's gonna leave this big empty void over here. Alright, anyway, I'm sorry guys. I'm just fascinated with watching my village change. Let's get another woodcutter going. Because when winter hits... Oh no, it's not here yet. When winter hits, we'll start converting our firewood to charcoal. And we'll disable our dyer. Alright, so that's it for level 3 burgage plots for now. The dumbass king is raising our taxes. Alright, peasants, you better enjoy my 0 taxes while it lasts, because we're getting really, really close to when I'm going to start charging taxes again. Now, even with all of this expansion, we still should be meeting all of our food requirements, and just all of our requirements. And then something that I haven't checked in a while is our water supply. I have 2 wells. And I got them both up to level 2. And each level 2 well supplies 50 houses, I think. So we have a really big surplus of water supply, so that's fine. Let's check on our flock. Alright, some of these adults are getting killed off. Now look how many shoes that we have. We're producing a lot of shoes. And there's our development point. So yeah, definitely getting orchardry. We won't start utilizing that yet, but I will need to jump on that soon because it takes a long time for orchards to start producing apples in really large numbers, and it requires a lot of space. But lucky for us, I'm opening up some space over here, so maybe I'll do an orchard over here. But it takes a lot of time, like several years, to get up to full production. But we won't do that yet. But it will give us another food variety. Requiring us to rely so much on meat from the sheep not having to slaughter so many, and then having apples will make up for that. But now you can really get a good look at how my village is gonna keep building. This symbol means storage, because we have to build our other granary and our other storehouse. I think this is where I'm going to put them. And then we might have some leftover space in this corner to build houses. But you're seeing a new symbol. Alright guys, we can go speed 3. I love this kick-ass approval rating. I'm loving it. We have a lot of available families now, which is really good. Let's just get all of the sheep herders going. And let's just get all of our weavers going. Because why not? Between the episodes, I managed their work area. I gave them a really large one. I want them to cut down the rest of the trees along the border. So they still have plenty of those to go. Let's get another logger. Okay, I said I'd do this. I hope our frames aren't too bad when I do this, but... ah, they're not great. And again, I do apologize for this, but I'll deal with it. So a nice, cool little street to walk down. I like how this part of the town is... oh, my frames get better when I'm in this house. But, alright, next episode I promise I'll have that solved. Because I don't know what's going on. But I'm done apologizing for it, because we're doing... check it out. I'm considering doing another militia company of spears. We have a lot of shield stockpiled and dyes. They don't seem to be getting to the trader, or maybe they are getting to the trader, it's just nobody's buying them. Maybe they're just not selling. Here it comes. Jack Frost has come to visit. Okay, we're turning off the dyer, because we want to maintain some food supply during the winter. Let's get a couple people working the charcoal burner. So yeah, it's like this nice fancy house out in the... it gets some room to breathe as opposed to being on top of one of the other ones. Alright, they got a reasonable amount of the land of this burgage plot, this vegetable garden plowed. So they're going to have a decent amount of vegetables to harvest when spring comes. So yeah, still not going to build any more residential areas yet, because we have so much living space to work on and work from now. But I'll start building this way. I still need to make up my mind on what I'm going to do with this. A market, maybe? Because I could fit a market in there. But I have my market over here that I like. And I have plenty of free stall locations here. Okay, we have plenty of timber. I'll take that guy off of that. Let's get another tile maker. I want to get somebody else working the tavern. Did we get 2 families just then? I wasn't paying attention. So yeah, we are filling up these militia companies. I'm getting another one. That'll give us an even 10, including mercenaries, because the mercenary band that I want to hire gives you 3 companies, so... yeah, 10. It's gonna make these companies smaller as a result of me doing that, but that's okay. I've got quite the military going. And then I still am going to avoid making archers because, like I said at the beginning of the episode, they're not high value. It would mainly be for role-playing and just so we could see them launching arrows over the walls. Since I can't actually man the walls themselves. Alright, how about this? Maybe next episode we'll start that construction. That's kind of arbitrary, I know, but... and I really want an excuse to start building it up. Oops, I forgot to delete this little tower there. So people are moving in with a vengeance. I don't need to be importing any more livestock. But that will save us some money, come to think of it. Even though regional wealth is looking good right now, but that saves us some money. Alright, how about this? Maybe between the episodes, I don't need to play the game to plan the castle out. Maybe I'll get a rough... I'll get stage 1 planned out. How about that? We'll get stage 1 planned out for our castle. So even with the addition of that extra... and it was immediately supplied with the required amount of helmets. But yeah, so even with the addition of that extra company, it's still over 20 for each. Alright, my frames have kind of calmed down. I'm still wondering what's going on here, but let's enjoy it while it lasts. Alright, I have a lot of unassigned families. We can really start ramping things up now. Maybe I can get another tanner? Like, we burn through the leather that we create because we make a bunch of shoes. I have a high surplus of shoes. Maybe that's something I can start thinking about exporting. Yeah, pretty much every household needs shoes. So I am supplying a lot of houses with those. So I'm not going to start exporting shoes right now. Let's upgrade. Whoops. No, that's a level 1. I'm upgrading it to level 2. I meant to do that. Let's get these level 1s up to level 2. Yeah, my frames got better. Oh, and then they kind of got worse. But we're only 2 months away, and in terms of what I'm looking at on OBS, I'm over an hour right now with some editing. I could trim it down. Unassigned families. Guess I could just have more miners going, and because once spring comes, I'm going to have a bunch of them foraging and dying. Dying with a DYE, not dying. You know, bad joke. I know I have a bunch of timber saved up, but I think I want to use that for when I plan my castle, because I'm going to need some of it. And we're going to need to start importing stone. How about we pull the trigger on that? Let's start importing. It's on the expensive side, 11 each. How about we save up for let's get a stockpile of... is 50? 75. So now we're importing stone, but it's not something that I'm going to be doing constantly. Alright, just one more month. Got a bunch of money just there. Our imports still are outweighed by the exports. We're still making a profit. We've made quite a bit on shields. Almost 3,200 on exporting dyes. We're spending a lot on malt, but the roof tiles are making up for that. We're no longer importing sheep, so that's not really a cost. The helmets are not that bad. And we are making up for some of the cost of the malt imports by exporting some of the excess ale. And even though we've sold a lot of clay, it's not worth that much, but at least it's something. Alright, we're doing really good on trade. I like how things are looking. Our taxes are continuing to increase. When do we have to pay those? In 17 days. So the 1st of March, I guess? Alright, our taxes are coming due here, guys. I'm really hoping we can see our food supplies starting to... We seem to be, like, plateauing at, like, slightly above a year's worth when we're harvesting berries, but then it kind of rapidly drops down to less than a year. And while we still have a lot of wiggle room to work with, I want to try to keep increasing my food supply and maybe hire another granary worker. Let's try that. Alright, it's March. You know how things work here. We're going to wait until the snow melts so I can take another thumbnail shot. I'll leave these unassigned families for... Oh, let's wait for berries to start growing. I did that last time. The 13th of March, I think, is when they start growing. We still have firewood to burn through, and I should probably relax on creating firewood. I can make all those decisions. Oh, there they go. So when's the day officially? March 11th is when they start growing. So we'll get a few of those going. How about we take a tanner off? Let's check on our flock. We have 31 adults, 49 lambs. I hope we have a decent amount of meat. Nope, we don't have any meat. There's meat on the market, though. We're supplying some of our level 3s with meat. I could supplement that with deer now. Okay, how about we take a... We have so many miners. Let's take a miner off, and let's get somebody hunting. We're ending the episode, because I'm pausing now, and I'm not... There's a decent... The snow is mostly gone. I can take that picture. We're going to go pause now. We're ending with 88% approval. I'll see what I can do and get my manor house planned out, but you know what I'm doing. We got a crazy amount of families in this episode, no joke. We're down to just 2 living spaces left, and that's even though we got like a bunch more living spaces by increasing all these burgage plots to level 3. So a massive amount of families have moved in. We're already running out of living space, so I can start expanding this way and into here. We move some of our industries. We have some future land planned out for granaries and storehouses. More residential planned. We got our new vegetable plot up and running. We got 4 families working here. Assigned them all as gravediggers. So yes, just successful episode. I think I managed this one pretty damn well. Now, granted, we didn't really build the village up, but we made it fancier. And I can't wait for the day when we start taking thumbnail pictures and the castle is in the background. I can't wait. But anyway, guys, I've talked enough. That is going to do it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that thumbs up button down below. Leave your comments down below as well. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. We're closing in rapidly on 2,400 subscribers, which is my next milestone. So if you haven't already hit subscribe, go ahead and do that. Again, I apologize for the minor performance issues, but it got better towards the end, which I'm not really understanding. But for next episode, I promise I'll have that fixed. I hope you guys don't mind. Hope you don't hate on me too much for that. But overall, a really good episode. I really had a fun time, especially discussing our building projects. But that'll do it for today, guys. Hope to see you in the next one. Episode 7 will be coming at you soon. But until then, have a good one, guys.